Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This video is about treatment of preeclampsia, and basically I am going to discuss this from the NICE guideline about hypertension in pregnancy. Okay, so what is written in the table, that is very important, because if we understand the table, a lot of questions of the exam will be solved, and also it is very helpful in our clinical practice. Okay, so first of all, we will divide the hypertension into two main types: hypertension and severe hypertension. Hypertension is when the blood pressure is 140 by 90 to 159 by 109. Okay, and severe hypertension is when the blood pressure is 160 by 110 or more. Okay, so regarding the hospital admission, when we talk about just hypertension, okay, we have to admit if any clinical concern for the well-being of the woman or the baby exists, or if the high risk of adverse events suggested by Fulpires and PrEP as risk prediction models. Okay, so if we think that there are clinical concern, and as we discussed before, that we have Fulpires and PrEP as model for the risk prediction. So if we have those models, and according to that, if the patient is in the category of the high risk, then we need to admit in case of the hypertension. Now what we do in case of the severe hypertension. Okay, in severe hypertension we have to admit anyway. Admit if BP falls below 160 by 110, then manage as per hypertension. Okay, if the BP falls below 160 by 110, then it means that the patient is now included in the category of the hypertension. We will manage accordingly. Now, antihypertensive pharmacological treatment. Okay, in case of the hypertension, we have to offer pharmacological treatment if BP remains above 140 by 90. Okay, and in case of the severe hypertension, offer pharmacological treatment to all women, because they are included among the severe hypertension, and also there is preeclampsia. So to all women we will offer pharmacological treatment. Okay, now target blood pressure once on antihypertensive treatment. What will be the target blood pressure? In both cases, the aim of the blood pressure maintenance would be 135 by 85 millimeter mercury or less, and in case of the severe hypertension, also the aim for the BP of 135 by 85 or less would be our aim. Okay, now how would we do the blood pressure measurement? Okay, at least every 48 hours or more frequently if the woman is admitted to the hospital. Okay, that is the case of the hypertension. What we will do in case of severe hypertension? In case of severe hypertension, we have to check blood pressure every 15 to 30 minutes until the BP is less than 160 by 110, and then at least 4 times daily. 4 times daily means 6 hourly. While the woman is an inpatient, depending upon the clinical circumstances. Okay, so frequency of the blood pressure checking is very important. Okay, if we have preeclampsia but the patient is in the category of hypertension, not the severe hypertension, with the preeclampsia, then every 48 hours mean after every 2 days, okay, we can check. Okay, and more frequently if the woman is admitted to the hospital. If the woman is admitted to the hospital, then definitely twice a day or thrice a day you can check it. But in case when the patient is in the community and patient has got preeclampsia but is included among the mild to moderate case, as we discussed in previous NICE guidelines, so we can check at least every 48 hours. Okay, the next thing is about dipstick proteinuria testing. How frequently we check the protein testing by using the dipstick? We will do that only, we will only repeat if the clinically indicated, for example, if new symptoms and signs develop, or if there is uncertainty over diagnosis. Okay, so we will not repeat it frequently, but if there are signs and symptoms, change in the signs and symptoms, then we can check it. And regarding the severe hypertension is written, only repeat if clinically indicated, for example, if new symptoms and signs develop, or if there is uncertainty over diagnosis. Now, blood test, which test we do? Okay, about blood test, it is written that measure full blood count, liver function test, and renal function test twice a week in case of the hypertension. And what about severe hypertension? The same PIH profile which we usually do in our routine, that is full blood count, liver function test, renal function test 3 times a week. Okay, now how would we do the fetal assessment? In case of the hypertension only, offer fetal heart auscultation at every antenatal appointment. Okay, and carry out ultrasound assessment of the fetus at diagnosis. If normal, repeat every 2 weeks. Okay, if normal, then we can repeat it every 2 weeks, and carry out CTG at diagnosis, and then only if clinically indicated. That is about the hypertension. What about the severe hypertension with preeclampsia? Offer fetal heart auscultation at every antenatal appointment. Then carry out ultrasound assessment of the fetus at diagnosis. If normal, repeat every 2 weeks, mean the same thing. And carry out CTG at the diagnosis, and then only if clinically indicated. Okay. And about the notice, very important thing which is written is that use an automated reagent strip reading device for the dipstick screening for the proteinuria in secondary care setting. Okay, and about the choice of antihypertensive, it's written that offer labetalol to treat hypertension in the woman with a preeclampsia, and offer nifedipine for a woman in whom labetalol is not suitable, and methyl dopa if labetalol or nifedipine both are not suitable, and base the choice on any existing treatment, side effect profile, risk including the fetal effects and the woman preferences. Okay, now what should be the timing of the birth? The timing of the birth. Okay, about it's written that record maternal and fetal threshold for planned birth before 37 weeks in the woman with a preeclampsia, and the threshold for considering the planned early birth include but are not limited to any of the known feature of preeclampsia, like inability to control maternal blood pressure despite using 3 or more classes of the antihypertensive in appropriate doses, maternal pulse oximetry less than 90%, progressive deterioration in the liver renal functions, hemolysis of the platelet counts, and ongoing neurological features such as severe intractable headache, repeated visual scotoma or eclampsia, placental abruption, reverse and diastolic flow in the umbilical artery, Doppler velocimetry, and non-reassuring CTG or stillbirth. And other features not listed above may also be considered, and involves senior obstetrician in any decision on timing of the birth for the woman with preeclampsia, and discussed with anesthetist team if the birth is planned in the woman with preeclampsia, and discussed with neonatology team if the birth is planned in a woman with preeclampsia and neonatal complications are anticipated. And if intravenous magnesium sulfate, we have to offer intravenous magnesium sulfate and course of antenatal corticosteroid if indicated. If early birth is planned for the woman with the preterm preeclampsia in line with the NICE guideline on the preterm labor, and decide on the timing of the birth in women with preeclampsia as recommended in the table which we discussed. Okay, so we will discuss this table about the timing of the birth before 34 weeks continuous surveillance unless there are indications. From 34 to 36 weeks continuous surveillance unless there are indications. For the planned early birth. When considering the option of planned early birth, take into account women and baby's risk conditions, risk